Sukuna's flames just killed Choso, who sacrificed himself to save Yuji, and at the end of the chapter we had Todo appearing to help Yuji in a tag team against Sukuna. This is going to be one of the most emotional chapters I have read, I think, ever of JJK, with one of the saddest deaths, I think, in Jujutsu Kaisen as a whole, with Choso losing his life, saving Yuji, and of course we had Todo step in at the very end, looking stronger than ever. I mean, these were just crazy and very depressing, I can't lie. Let's just get straight into these leaks. Be sure to leave a like on the video, it helps out, thank you. And if you haven't, be sure to subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content just like this. Less than 10% of people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if you love JJK, I assure you, you won't get subscribing. And of course, thank you to the special grade members of the channel, it is much appreciated. Let's get right into these leaks. So, the chapter starts off with a flashback of Yuji, Choso, and Kamo all training on teaching Yuji how to use blood manipulation. It's pretty cute, I really love this short flashback. And Choso's trying to teach Yuji the best things, he's trying to teach him how to use supernova, all the crazy stuff, but Kamo suggests that Yuji should just learn the basic stuff, such as how to stop bleeding and all that stuff. And Choso gets sad and pouts for not being able to teach Yuji, which was just an adorable moment which hits so much harder with Choso's death and the incredibly sad moment that came after this chapter. It's just very depressing. With the editor's comment at the beginning of the chapter saying, "Teach me Oni-chan." Yeah, this hits right in the feels. God damn, man. Why did it have to be Choso? Why couldn't it have been Inumaki or Panda or throw in Meme or something? Why did it have to be Choso? I don't know. But it's also revealed that the second person that Yuji swapped with is Yuta. So pretty interesting. A lot of crazy theories are going to come out of this, so be ready for that. And then we get an awesome double page spread explaining how the flames work. So the narrator says only by going through the cooking process of both dismantle and cleave will the door to Kamino open. It lacks the speed relative to its fire and has a narrative effect range. I think maybe what Mimura is trying to say is narrow effect range. To resolve these issues, Sukuna imposed a binding vow, of course. He imposed a binding vow on himself. I mean, Sukuna's abusing binding vows more than my ex abused me. It's just insane. Then we get a brief glimpse at Hakari and Urume, where Urume says it's our win as we see a bright flash of light. As the narrator continues to explain that Kamino's heat results in decompression and overpressure, leading to the death of living beings inside the domain. This is Ryomen Sukuna's ultimate technique that slaughtered Mahoraga in one strike. The narrator further explains that during the fight with Gojo, Sukuna had to repeatedly change the specifications of his domain, narrowing its effective range due to which Sukuna deemed it insufficient to unleash Kamino. Thus, Sukuna had to seal it during his fight with Gojo. So do remember, Sukuna could have used the flames against Gojo, but to make sure it's at max power, at max output to destroy everything, there needs to be specific circumstances such as the domain being at full range. So because he couldn't get that with Gojo, that's why he didn't use the flames. He could have, but the flames just wouldn't have been strong enough to kill him, which helps Gojo quite a lot in Gojo vs Sukuna versus battles. Before the flames could hit Yuji, Choso sacrifices himself and makes a barrier of blood around him to protect Yuji. And right here, Choso is slowly dying, completely destroyed by Sukuna's attack. You can see the text on the screen here. It is very depressing, and Choso apologizes for being useless during the training because he's the type of guy who does it on instinct. And then we see Choso and Yuji are in an imaginary soul world. It's very similar to the one where Choso had those fake memories. It's pretty much the exact same place, but it's just Yuji and Choso. Choso compliments Yuji for learning reverse curse technique faster than him, but Yuji says it's due to Sukuna using his body did he achieve it, which of course makes sense since it's like muscle memory. Sukuna used it on Yuji's body, so Yuji was able to learn it faster, but Choso says it's okay. Little brothers are meant to surpass their older brothers. Yuji scolds Choso and says you can't just disappear. Choso says, right, I need to apologize to Yuki too. Yuji, I'm sorry for leaving you alone again. And Yuji says, and this hits really hard, you were always by my side when times were the toughest. That's more than enough, which is really, I can't lie, it just really hits the heart, right where it hurts. Choso says, right, and then we see Eso says, big bro, are you there? Choso says, I'm right here. Kachitsu says, brother, it's cold. Choso says, it's alright, let's talk. If we talk together, we'll forget about the cold. The 150 years we experienced was only a few days for Yuji. Damn, man, reunited with his brothers in the afterlife. And what comes next is just so sad. I mean, as everything crumbles down, Yuji helplessly asks, guys, someone, and the page just looks so depressing as we see the silhouette of Sukuna coming in, as the narrator says that Yuji convinced himself that he was just a cog. No matter what happened, he was meant to fulfill his role. But as the scorched earth's heat begins to push his way, it shook the foundation of his resolve. The resolve to repay his brother who sacrificed his life to protect him. God, I mean, to shake Yuji's resolve, that's how you know how impactful and just depressing this was, because right now Yuji's resolve is incredibly strong. Yuji hopelessly sees Sukuna coming towards him, but Aoi Todo once again arrives at the battlefield to help his brother. Play that fairy tale music, please. There's a really cool flashback between Todo and Meme where they're talking in some sort of secret place. Todo and Meme plan on how to rescue people trapped inside of Sukuna's domain. By using Mei's crows and Todo's boogie woogie, they can get people outside. Since Sukuna's domain instantly kills, Todo can't guarantee their lives, but it's a good try. And I've just got to say, Meme and Uri are the MVPs of Shinjuku. I swear to God, these guys have done so much in the help of defeating Ryomen Sukuna. Mei says since Todo will be outside of Sukuna's domain, he has to expand his curse techniques range by a lot. So she asks ask him if he can really do that with those arms. Todo says he's not really sure of succeeding, but he says he can feel the heartbeat of Boogie Woogie. It's something so in character for Todo to say, and I just love hearing it. I'm so glad Todo's back. But Todo says that they can't let Yuji know of this plan. Yuji and Sukuna were two souls in one body. Even though it's in the past, that connection itself is strong. So there's a possibility of their plan unknowingly being spilled to Sukuna. The narrator says even Todo was uncertain of his ally's safety and couldn't manage to move Choso and Yuji outside because both of them were right at the center of the domain expansion. So that's why he couldn't save Choso and Yuji, which is really unfortunate, and I can't lie, it would have been so cool to see a three-way brothers versus Sukuna, like having Choso, Todo, and Yuji team up three brothers. I truly believe that that was a missed opportunity, and it would have been awesome to see how Choso and Todo interact. One is his brother by delusion, one is his brother by blood. He couldn't explain all this to Yuji, so Todo tried to encourage him by saying, "I'm sorry, brother," but there, referencing the sorcerers, are probably all right. And Yuji has a very locked in look in this moment. Yuji tries to steal his resolve by thinking other sorcerers are probably alright, so this is referring to Ino, Miwa, and Maki. And he has to believe in Todo for now, so Todo coming in the clutch. Love to see it, man, especially after that very sad moment of Choso. Yuji and Todo rush towards Sukuna as the narrator reveals that Sukuna is now at a state where it's difficult to use his curse technique after his domain expansion, meaning right now Sukuna is suffering from a curse technique burnout. It is the perfect time to absolutely beat his ass, and I can't lie, it is amazing seeing Todo and Yuji once again team up just as they did against Mahito such a long time ago. And I do wonder what's going on with Todo, since we do see him rip that cast off his arm, and we see that it's revealing something underneath it, so I'm not too sure what's going on there, you know, so maybe the theories about him having a Mechamaru robotic hand is true, and he's actually using that to do the Boogie Woogie, or maybe they managed to somehow heal his hand, which is unlikely since that was soul damage due to ideal transfiguration, so maybe not, we don't really know. But it's great to see Todo back in business, and it's very likely that we're going to see a lot of sorcerers jump in right now. So we saw Hakari and Urume is not done yet, so that fight's still going on, but this right now is the perfect chance to beat Sukuna. This is the perfect opportunity to absolutely rush him with everyone you have, while Sukuna's curse technique is currently burnt out. So if Yuta can come back, if they've healed him enough and if he's alright, as well as Maki, Miwa, you know, everyone, if they can quickly come in, and if Uyo can teleport them in as fast as possible, it's just the perfect opportunity. And it could even be possible that Miguel and LaRue could come in too, since now that Sukuna's domain is over, he's experiencing technique burnout, so he's even more nerfed than he was before, since Sukuna did impose all those binding vows on him, and we don't yet know what the consequences of those binding vows are. But binding vows aren't just a free pass to get power-ups and cheat codes, you know, there's always a consequence to it, usually a big one. As we saw with the world ending slash, there are consequences to that, so I do imagine there will be some consequences to the many binding vows that he just made, at least 2. So I wonder what those are going to be, and maybe that'll play a role in defeating Sukuna right here, right now. And I do want to touch upon the Nobara Copium, the Nobara Hopium, since now that we have Todo coming back, the odds of Nobara coming back have astronomically increased, since those two are kind of like a pair. Usually people said, oh, if one doesn't come back, then the other probably isn't, but if one does come back, then it does leave the door open for characters who have just not appeared in a while to just suddenly come back in the Sukuna fight. So if Todo can really just appear out of thin air this deep into the Sukuna fight, it would not surprise me if Nobara comes back, which would be awesome. I do hope she comes back, and I think it would be a very hype moment. Overall, I thought it was a fantastic chapter, and a very sad one at that. But if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, it helps out a ton, thank you. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content just like this. Less than 10% of people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if you love JJK, I assure you, you won't regret subscribing. And of course, thank you to all the channel members as well. It is always much appreciated, guys, but that's all from me. Have a great day and take care.